All right, we're gonna do a little bit of review with our maps. We didn't do that in the last video, so I wanted to make sure we get some of that in to review it. And there's some new maps that you can see that I have here on the board. So here's our one that we've kind of gone over before. This is our world map with our 7 continents and 5 oceans. How many continents? 7. And how many oceans? 5. So remember, our continents are, we start here and work our way across: North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica. Again, North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Antarctica. Those are your 7 continents, okay? North America is north. South America is south. Europe is back north, but across the Atlantic Ocean from North America. Africa is a little bit across from South America, and then we have that big continent of Asia we talked about with India, China, Japan, the Spice Islands, and many other countries over here. Then Australia, our little island out in the Indian Ocean with the Indian on one side, Pacific on the other. And then Antarctica, which is on the southern end of our Earth, our world. And then our 5 oceans: Pacific Ocean, then Atlantic Ocean. At the top is the Arctic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and then Southern Ocean. And you're like, oh wait, Miss Marie, you forgot this one. No, remember, that's Pacific again. Because remember, it's a sphere, like our globe that we have, right? That beautiful globe. So when we have that sphere, these two would be connected. So these are the Pacific Oceans, okay? And then we have our continents: Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean is in between, and Southern Ocean and Arctic Ocean at the top, okay? So we could say Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Southern Ocean, okay? Does that make sense? So Indian Ocean, you'll remember India, China, Japan, the Spice Islands, that's where our Indian Ocean is. And Arctic Ocean's by the Arctic, and then Antarctica has the Southern Ocean, okay? So think those continents and rivers, no. Those are not rivers, they're way bigger. Our continents and oceans, think those through carefully. And now, we're gonna get specific in North America, but not even just North America, because North America includes Canada, United States, and Mexico. So we're gonna get even more specific and just go into our United States. There are 5 regions of our United States. There's 5 separate spots that we like to separate our United States into. The first part is called the Northeast. That's us, woo woo, here in the Northeast, okay? We are considered Northeast here in Connecticut. Then down below, this is the Southeast, okay? So we have our Northeast, then Southeast, makes sense. Here in the middle is called the Midwest, okay? Northeast, Southeast, these are on the eastern side. Midwest is right in the middle. Underneath the Midwest is Southwest, okay? And then right off to the left-hand side is our West. So Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, Southwest, West. Pretty easy, right? Not hard at all to think of those 5 different regions. And that helps to make it easier to locate and recognize where those states are, because we're going to learn all of our states. So if we can learn them by region, that's going to make it a lot easier. So we're going to start with our Northeast, we'll veer to our Southeast, we'll go over to our Midwest, down to our Southwest, and then eventually learn our West. So these are in the back of your history book as well, these different maps that I'm showing you. So you'll have opportunities to look at them at home to study for tests and quizzes, as well as when we review them here in class. So in class, obviously, we're going to look at these because they're nice and big and huge and you can see them. But when you're home and you don't have access to these, they're in the back of your history book. So not only are we going to learn and know our continents, our oceans, our regions of the United States, but there's also our amazing world that God made, and He didn't make it just plain. Just like we talked about with us, He didn't make us plain. He didn't make us all look the same. There's variety. There's parts of our land, of the world, that are bumpy, and parts that are flat, and parts that are tall, and parts that are low, and parts that have gaps in them, and parts that have water, lots of water, or little trickles of water, or deep water, or wide water. All kinds of things that are called landforms, okay? So they're called landforms. And these landforms are also some parts that we're going to get to know, aside from just knowing our continents and oceans and our regions of our United States, getting to know all of our separate states in the United States. We're also going to learn some landforms. So we're only going to talk about a couple today. But the first ones that we're going to talk about are right here. So these are raised areas of land. So these raised areas of land are oftentimes found all throughout our world. This smaller raised is a hill. It's going to be a lot smaller than our mountains. So we have our mountains and our hills, and those are just raised areas of land. And obviously our hills are not nearly as high as our mountains are. Then we have next to our mountain something that looks even bigger, but if you look closely, it's got stuff coming out of it, it's got smoke. Well, you could already see what it says. It's a volcano. So a volcano is a mountain with an opening in the Earth's crust, and from that opening flows the lava out of the Earth's crust. So that lava is escaping from the Earth's crust. So that's what a volcano is. It's an opening in the mountain, in the Earth's crust, that allows lava to escape. Then we have our valley right over here. And in between our mountains, that's where we have our valley. It's a lowland that's between hills or mountains. So valley is lowland, obviously. Mountains and hills are higher land. We have our volcano, which is explosive land, but it's that opening in the earth, in the mountains, that allows lava to escape. And then we have simply a plain. And a plain is just flat land, a flat area of land or a level area of land. It's just plain. And you guys should already know this, because what is it, third grade? Those are my smart kids right there. It's your spelling word, right? And we know that that spelling word is plain. P-L-A, or not even a spelling word, our vocab word. Plain, P-L-A-I-N, plain. What does it mean? Flat land with few trees. Yes, see, you already knew that. So we have our hill, our mountains, our volcanoes, our valleys that are in between the mountains and the hills, and then the plain, that flat land, level area of land, doesn't have very many trees. That's called the plain. So we will be learning landforms, as well as our continents and oceans, as well as our regions of the United States and our states. So paying attention to those maps is going to help you quite a bit. All right, now I know that I already heard from a couple of you that you really enjoyed history and you could not wait to find out what was happening to John Smith. You better not have read ahead, because I'm going to tell you right now what happened with John Smith. We were talking about the fact that King James I saw France and Spain getting all kinds of riches because they had sent people over to the New World that, after Columbus had explored and sailed. Now more countries are sailing to this new world, and Spain and France were two of those countries, and their kings were now getting a lot of fame, and they were getting riches from this new world. And King James I thought, I want to get riches as well, and I want to be well known. I'm going to send a group over, and they're going to claim land for England. So he was so excited to do that. So he sent 3 ships. What were they? Don't look, or no, if you have to, but try not to. We went over this yesterday. Not the Nina, the Pinta, and Santa Maria. What are they? I think I heard. You got, yep. Did you get all 3? Yes, if you did. High five, elbow bump. Yay. Hurrah. Sis boom ba, okay? Yes, if you got all 3. If you didn't, that's okay. We'll get them. But you need to remember those 3 English ships. The Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. Yes, you are awesome. So those were the 3 English ships that were sent across. Now, the Susan Constant was a big ship. Who was in charge of that ship? Not John Smith. Oh, I heard you. You did not remember that. Did you look? Be honest. Okay, some of you did. Okay, good, you're honest. But some of you didn't even look, and you knew Captain Newport. Captain Newport was the captain of the Susan Constant. He was in charge of all 3 ships, but he was the captain of the Susan Constant. And on the Susan Constant were a group of men, including a fiery little red-haired, guy that people didn't like. Because as they're sailing to the New World through order of King James I, Captain Newport hears arguing and yelling and all of this noise. And there's a group of men in a circle, and they're all rah, 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 looking down into the circle, and in the middle of that circle was a smaller, shorter guy, but boy, he was not intimidated by any of those guys all around him, and he was ready to fight them all. And he looked at them, and he gave them the, this talk. No, you're wrong, not me, I'm not wrong, and he was ready to go. Now, when Captain Newport came over, everybody pointed at John Smith and said, he's doing wrong. He's the problem. And Captain Newport believed them, so he ordered that John Smith be taken away in chains and put down below the deck in the ship. And that's where he stayed. They traveled and traveled, and finally they heard the cry of land, land, we're there, we're on land, we're there. And that's when Captain Newport was finally able to open that box, that wooden box that had been sealed by the king because they weren't allowed to look at it until they got to land. Now that they're on land, Captain Newport breaks the seal, opens that box to find out who was going to be in charge of the new colony. And as he read the names, his name was first, and then he read off 5 other men after him, and then he got to the last name, that very last name. Whose name was it? It was John Smith's name. Oh no! What are they gonna do? He's gonna be one of the ones in charge, and they don't even like him. He's still below the deck in chains. Are they gonna let him free? We'll have to find out right now. All right, turn in your books and let's see. Jamestown is built. Colonists made many mistakes in their first several, all right, I think I'm gonna